State House, because you all do have some suburban, are there any parts of suburban districts that touch your district at all, or no? All Columbus? Some suburban, right? Whitehall, okay. Well, I think it's pretty known in Reynoldsburg. Okay, so there's this impression Columbus somehow, substandard district. This is a question we've gotten from the audience, substandard district, that people often are trying to move to different districts to get out of Columbus. What would be also, just staying with the education point right now, your strategy for combating that perception if you're on Columbus School Board?
So my thoughts are to make sure that our school district is the best, and making sure that people are aware of that. There are so many children that are leaving Columbus City Schools, but there are some really good programs that we do have, and we need to capitalize on that. And we need to make sure that our public knows that these are some great programs. For instance, on the news the other day, Channel 10 did a story on career tech education. They talked about Eastland Fairfield, and they talked about Columbus City Schools. They talked about Columbus State, but they made no mention of Columbus City Schools. We are the largest school district in the state. We do have some great programs for students to take and career advancement. So we need to make sure that our school system is actually being talked about, that parents are knowing that we do have some good programs going on. And then enhancing those programs and making sure that we are providing students and parents what they need in regards to career tech.
Great, thank you. And this is going to be our last education-related question before we move on to some other issue areas, but of course, feel free to keep submitting questions on that. So for State House...
Can I ask a question? Can I say something?
You can, yes, Jesse, you may.
Okay, thank you. I just want to pipe in because I really appreciate hearing from the state legislative folks and from the perspective of Columbus School Board. I think in Columbus, we have to see all of our city leaders be advocates for public education and find every opportunity to advocate for public education and for youth, and so folks have an opportunity to success. Because I think about how, as a lawyer working down in the courthouse, assisting tenants at risk of eviction, I see parents bringing their kids into the courthouse, and I know that means they're struggling with school because they don't have stable housing and they don't have the food to eat that they need. And I want to see a Columbus City and a local government that stands up to wrap around the kids at our schools what they need, to invest long-term in pre-K, childcare, to get kids ready for school, and then to stand up to make sure that they're successful once they're in school, to be advocates fighting with you guys at the State House and showing up and protesting and lobbying to say, don't defund our schools because we need that in Columbus. That's all.
Great point, Jesse, thank you. Education is more than just schools. It's also the whole life that you're living outside of the classroom. Great point. For our State House folks, I'll come back to Dontavius because it's been too long since we've heard from you, Dontavius. Okay, so this is a question from the audience. Do you foresee, but really we're going to go through all of you if you have more to add. Do you foresee the State Department of Education dictating curriculum? And if so, will the department be staffed with certified educators versus those with no background in education?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. What I would tell you is, based upon the conversations that the Department of Education and Workforce, that's the new name for the department, has came up with, what I would tell you is that there are bills that are currently making their way through the legislature that will, I think, change curriculum. And so for folks who may not know, what you see with SB1, and SB1 is a bill that we're going to likely be voting on. We will be voting on this upcoming Wednesday. It passed out the Senate, which is going to address DEI, or diversity, equity, inclusion programs, out of our public institutions. We have a bill that is very similar that is going to be addressing K through 12. And so when you think about Black History Month,
in what stage is that bill at?
It is currently in a co-sponsorship stage, meaning that they're currently getting legislative colleagues to support the bill before it's recorded in the clerk's office. So it does not have a bill number yet. Once it has a bill number, we're happy to send it out to the committee or to Peaches so that folks can advocate around this. But this is a big deal because this impacts every single public institution across Ohio. You want to know who it does not impact? charter schools.
I was going to say private.
So when you think about Black History Month, right, there could very well be a requirement in this bill, and I have not seen the bill language yet, so we're trying to get it, that could say that, you know, a school cannot have Black history curriculum. A school cannot have programs related to women's history. A school cannot talk about LGBTQA history or issues. And that inadvertently will impact the type of quality and sense of belonging that's going to be in our K through 12 education system. You know, when you have, heck, even teachers who feel compelled to teach authentic education, right? Talk about Black history in the real sense of it, and you can't even talk about it in classrooms or you may get fired, that's going to impact curriculum. And so these are the types of conversations we're having in the State House. And I want to be really clear, right? Like, I'm emotional about this, but I also want to give you the tools as a state representative so you know how to navigate the evils that exist in the State House, right? Because if we don't navigate this together, we're going to see the conditions of our communities lessened, because these are going to be literal mandates that are going to impact us for generations. This is not something that we can executive order away like Donald Trump, right? This is going to be in law until we find have a government that is going to undo those statutes, and that could take generations.